This your boy Xbox David, coming from Two Old Dudes Gaming, bringing you my casual open world dungeon, public dungeons, delves, storyline quest build. It's not in game. It's not meta. You could run 4-man dungeons with it. I've done it a few times, but it's mainly just for questing, having a little bit of fun while you're questing throughout the game. We all know that the overland quests are not hard. Storyline quests. I have my main character that I do all the story quests with, but now I'm trying to replay the story and I wanted something different, so I made my necromancer. And let's get into it. He's gonna have 64 into stamina. Max stamina is gonna be 30,000. Health is 18,000. Max and magicka about 11,800. Stamina recovery is 1,556. My weapon damage is 2375, but it does increase. My weapon crit is 47%. I do use the thief to increase my weapon damage. My food is dubious Kimura Throne. Now the skills I run, course, Pestilence Colossus. It's going to sit there and bring a big old flesh golem out of the ground. It's an ultimate. It's going to deal major damage. And it's going to also apply major vulnerability to the enemy. And any enemy hit for it's going to have major vulnerability for 8 seconds, increasing their damage taken by 30%. That's incredible. Still an OP ultimate. I do use Blood Craze to apply a dot. It's going to deal 1874 physical damage with each weapon and causing them to bleed for an additional 8,465 physical damage over 10 seconds. Then you also heal for 6315 health. I got it for the heal. Remember, this is open world, overland. I'm just running delves, public dungeons, world bosses, an occasional vet dungeon, Venom Skull. It's pretty much your Shang-Chi. You're throwing skulls at people. It's going to deal almost 7,000 damage, or poison damage. The third cast of the ability deals 20% increased damage. Then while slotted, casting any necromancer ability while you are in combat will count towards the third cost. I do have vigor, because you got to heal yourself. Shroud of Daggers, because when you throw it, it's going to sit there and bounce up to 3 enemies. You're gonna deal 5,800 physical damage per hit. You could set enemies off balance and stun them for 3 seconds if they are casting. You also gain major brutality, increasing your weapon damage by 20% for 20 seconds. That's a nice buff. Blighted Blast Bones. You gotta conjure up. Excuse me, it's my dog. You gotta conjure up a skeleton that's gonna come out of the ground and just run at somebody and blow up. It's gonna deal 11,619 disease damage to all enemies nearby, applying major defile to them for 4 seconds, reducing their healing received and health recovery by 30%. It's nice. Your next one, you're going to use Animated Blast Bones, in case you got to rest people. Unnerving Boneyard. Of course, it's just a big old AoE. Anybody in it's going to get hit for frost damage, 5643 frost damage over 10 seconds. It's going to apply Major Breach, Major Fracture, so it's going to reduce their spell and physical resistance by 5280. If there's a corpse on the ground, it's going to hit 50% harder. Other people could activate the synergy doing the Grave Robber. And when you do it, it's going to deal 9,181 frost damage to enemies in the area, healing you for the damage done. Endless Hail, of course. Just good old endless hail. It's just a barrage of arrows flying through the air, dealing damage. Then, of course, Skeletal Archer, because you need your second pet. He's going to come out. He's going to fight by you, by your side for 15 seconds before he dies. Summoner's Armor, which is a buff. It's going to increase your physical and spell resistance by 5280 for 20 seconds. You reduce the cost of your Blast Bones, your Mage, and your Mender by 13%, which is nice to have. And then Soul Split and Trap. Yeah, it got a nerf, but it still works. You run through a public dungeon, you hit everybody with it. So it's pretty much, you go through, hit them with that, hit them with that, hit them with that. You got this guy up here. And that's pretty much it. Now, as far as the passives are concerned, you want all the passives. Reusable parts. When your Blast Bone, Skeletal Mage, and Spear Mender dies, the cost of your Blast Bone, Skeletal Mage, and Spear Mender is reduced by 50%. Increase your critical chance against enemies under 25% health by 10% for each Gravelord ability slotted. Dismember. While a Gravelord ability is active, your spell and physical penetration are reduced by 1500. Increase your damage done increase your damage done with damage over time effects by 15%. Nice. Bone Tyrant, of course. Whenever an enemy you are in combat with dies within 28 meters of you, you're going to restore Magicka and Stamina, 200 of it, so that's good. Reduce the damage you take from damage over time abilities by 15% while you have a Bone Tyrant ability active. Increase your healing received by 2% for each Bone Tyrant ability slotted. Comes in time when you put those on and it works. Increase your max health by 1,250. Living Death tree. You're going to have Creative Curse. When you have a negative effect on you, your healing done is increased by 8%. While you have a Living Death ability slotted, your critical chance and all your healing abilities is increased by 20% in proportion to the severity of the target wounds. When you use an ability on a corpse, you generate 10 ultimate. This effect can occur every 16 seconds. Then, of course, Undead Confederate. When you have Blast Bones, Mage, and Spear Mender active, your magic and stamina recovery is increased by 200. Lovely. Now, as you will see, I have all the skills in each tree unlocked and more, and leveling them up because I like to change up my build mainly. When you're running overland, try new things. And that's what overland's for. You're questing, you're having fun. It's not, hey, let me run this cookie cutter build so I could go kill NPCs that are not that hard. I have all my two-handed abilities because I do take him into PvP and I switch up his build for that. I have my dual-wield abilities. I have Rapid Strikes, Blood Graze, Whirlwind, Deadly Strike, Shrouded Daggers. Of course, every passive for dual-wield. So you could do major DPS. My bow, I only use 2 skills out of this anyways. I use Endless Hail and Poison Inject. I do have all the passives, so I could go ahead and it helps me with my bow ability damage. I have all the medium armor passives, all the heavy armor passives, just in case I want to run a full heavy armor build. I have Turn Evil, Expert Hunter, Trap Beast. Turn Evil is really good when you use it in PvP or in BGs. You fear them, you drop the Colossus, and you spin the win. It's excellent. My Assault, I have my Resolving Vigor, my Razor Caltrops, of course. Support, no skills. I am a Dark Elf. Now, I picked the Dark Elf because the Dark Elf is a hybrid and it could go either or. You can increase your max Magicka and max Stamina by 1875, which is a passive, a nice passive. Increase your flame resistance by 2310. It comes in handy. But increases your weapon and spell damage by 258. Constant, it's there. That is why I have the Thief Mundus Stone to help me with my crit. Onto the gear. Now for my gear, I am running the Defiler, the Defiler set. It's going to have weapon damage for the second part, third item, weapon crit, and weapon crit for the fourth, or the third and fourth pieces. Now the fifth piece, when you deal critical damage, you have an 8% chance to summon a hunger that spews poison to all enemies in front of it, dealing 74/94 poison damage and stunning any enemy hit for 5 seconds. This effect can occur every 5 seconds. I got it on the axe. It's infused for poison damage on the first one. I like it. I haven't really changed it around. It's just, like I said, the enemies die real fast. The second one is training. I can transmute it, just haven't got around to it. My bow is blue. I did transmute that to infused. And I did put the weapon damage glyph on it. Now my monster helmet is Maul of the Inferno. Heavy, so it gives me max health. It is Divines, which will help with my Mundus. The one piece is going to be 1164 maximum health. Second piece, when you deal damage with a light or heavy attack, you have a 10% chance to summon a fire-breathing Daedra for 15 seconds. The Daedra's basic attack deals 47 flame damage. Now the other piece to this is the Unfathomable Darkness. All on the body. 2 items, weapon crit. 3, physical penetration. Weapon damage. When you deal damage, you have a 10% chance to call a murderer of crows around you for 12 seconds. Every 3 seconds, a crow will be sent to peck the closest enemy within 12 meters of you, dealing 57 physical damage. This effect can occur once every 15 seconds. It should ideally be Divines, but I got reinforced, I got well fitted. Haven't traded it all yet. And I have the jewelry, stamina recovery, weapon damage, stamina recovery. I'd rather be able to spam my abilities while doing overland and all that than worry about hitting harder, because you could get your weapon damage up pretty good. $33.52 is not bad. I'll probably get it higher than that. If I could get it right. 32. This is what you have. But it's easy to get this to work, because you're pretty much going to be doing this the whole entire time. So then you'll have a Daedra, Defiler, the crows, all at that one time. Your bone thing, your blast bones, your skeletal mage, all just coming out. And you're just running a pet build, a stamina necro pet build. I thought it was fitting because he is a necromancer. He does summon creatures, so why not summon multiple creatures to come out and do your bidding? That's why I did it. Look, the Defiler procs a lot. It's nice. Then you bring out your Colossus. Why not? And you just run through and you have good. Now my rotation's all screwed up because I'm not really doing a rotation. I'm just trying to get all the proc sets to proc. And that's it for the build. It's pretty straightforward and simple. Fun, easy to use. I do use Dubious Kimura Throne. And I use Trash Pots because once again I'm doing overland. So it's a fun build. Like I said, I wasn't really doing a rotation. Just attacking. Pull 10k DPS. You could pull a lot more than that if you want to actually run if you want to actually run a rotation and get it to set right. Change out some abilities. And that's it. So you guys have a good day. This is Xbox David from Two Old Dudes Gaming. Peace.